Godzilla vs. Kong is directed by Adam Wingard, and it's most notably starring Millie Bobby Brown, who once again plays the character of Maddie Russell. And this film is basically revolving around King Kong, who is being contained by a bunch of scientists because they believe that if he escapes, that Godzilla will chase after him because there can't be two kings existing at once. And this was a great plot and setup for a story that is largely revolving around fan service and is also based on another film from 1963. And to say that I was anticipating this film would honestly be an understatement. Just from the ending credits of Godzilla King of the Monsters alone, where they hinted at this film being a possibility or being made, I was ready. I was there. And boy, I was really surprised by this. I was expecting it to dedicate a lot of screen time to human characters that were really weak and really underdeveloped. And sure, the human characters were underdeveloped, but it is a lot more screen time dedicated to the monsters, Godzilla and King Kong, and it's a much better paced story in that sense. And while there are so many things that I love about this film, by far the biggest positive is definitely the visuals. There is a lot of moments, or not a lot, but some moments in Godzilla King of the Monsters where I could just see through the CGI and some of the green screen use. But here, there's not a single frame of this film where I can tell it's CGI. It looks so vibrant, it looks so hyper realistic on screen, and it's so immersive, especially if you're seeing it in an IMAX theater like I did. It was some of the most colorful CGI effects that I've seen in this whole Godzilla universe, and especially during the Hong Kong fight sequences that you probably saw in the trailer. It looks so stunning. It's such a pleasure to the eyes, and I was just blown away by it. The CGI effects in this film were incredible. It's some of the best out of the franchise. And I also think this is a very well paced film. It's honestly one of the best paced films in the franchise so far because they don't spend as much time with the human characters. They actually focus on Godzilla and King Kong, whether it's introducing the characters or actually having them just getting out and fighting. It's much more exciting and it's a much better structured story. It feels a lot more earned when the action sequences actually start to occur. Like you actually want to cheer on what's happening. And it's not just, this is entertaining, but where did this come from? Like Godzilla King of the Monsters was. It's a much better sequel. And while yes, there were some minor screenplay writing issues, especially with the human characters, this film didn't waste your time. It knew exactly what it wanted to be, and it got straight to the point, as I said. And it was a much better paced story than, say, Godzilla and Godzilla King of the Monsters. There was also a certain plot point that I wasn't really interested in at first. I thought it was very out of place and it wouldn't tie in with the rest of the story. It would slow down the pacing, and it felt like excessive fan service more than anything. But as the final act progressed, I thought it was actually a lot more interesting, and I was much more satisfied by it. It actually tied into the story really well, and it was just a major surprise to me. It blew me away. I'm not going to directly go into spoiler territory, but if you've seen it, you know exactly what I mean. And man, just watch it for yourself. But one of my major issues with this film is particularly how predictable it is, especially with the human characters. Like I can tell from the beginning exactly which characters would play into the story, which characters would play into the plot later on, and how they would go about it, which characters would meet up, everything. They were so generic, and it's like every character you could imagine in an action film. And these characters in general were just so lazily written. They are literally just there to either give exposition, to tell a really bad joke to try and bring in some comic relief, but it doesn't work well. It's something you can see coming a mile away, or they are literally just there to propel the plot forward, to carry the story along. Like this character has to do this for this to happen, or they have to get from point A to point B. It gets very generic. Especially Josh, Madison, and Bernie, those three characters in particular are the worst in the entire film, and they're literally the perfect example of everything I just mentioned. They are literally just there to give exposition, to bring in a new plot point, to introduce a few things, and to try and provide some comic relief. But that's it. They really slow down the pacing of this film, especially in the final act, and they just feel so out of place. I didn't expect them to develop these characters that well, but I at least wish they weren't so generic with the screenplay writing. But really, overall, other than that, I was really pleased and satisfied by this film, and it's exactly what I was hoping for. I'm giving Godzilla vs. Kong, a solid B. I'm definitely going to watch it again this weekend on HBO Max and do a full spoiler review for it, so look forward to that. And as always, I hope you enjoyed this review. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you in the next video.